The boathouse was already half gone when I made it outside. Flames roaring, smoke clawing at my lungs, Bentley barking his head off like he could scare the fire back into the lake. And all I could think was, this wasn't an accident. This was war. And someone had decided I didn't belong on the land I had bought with my own two hands. That's the thing nobody tells you when you escape to the woods for peace. Sometimes the worst predators drive SUVs, wear cream pantsuits, and call themselves HOA presidents. I had come here for quiet. The day I pulled my truck up that gravel road, trailer groaning behind me, old Labrador huffing in the passenger seat, I thought I'd found it. The cabin sat crooked on Pinecrest Lake, moss on the roof, dock sagging like it was tired too. But to me, it was perfect. I brewed coffee on the porch, breathed in pine and dirt and silence, and thought I'd finally beaten the city noise. I didn't know that silence was about to be shredded. The first time I saw her, she came at me like a storm front. Black SUV screeched to a halt, logo plastered on the side, Silverwood Shores HOA. Out steps this woman, hair perfectly bobbed, suit worth more than my truck, clipboard swinging like a badge. Two men trailed behind her like backup dancers. She didn't say hello. She barked, "You're squatting on Silverwood property. This structure violates community standards. Vacate immediately." I stared at her, coffee mug halfway to my lips, like maybe I'd misheard. "Pardon?" I asked. She jabbed her clipboard toward my cabin like it had personally insulted her ancestors. I unfolded my laminated survey, pointed at the red lines. "Ma'am, this is my property. Bought it at a state auction. Your HOA boundary ends over that ridge." She smirked, eyes narrowing, and hissed, "We'll see what the board decides. Enjoy your coffee while you can." Then she snapped her fingers and her crew retreated. But not before sitting in their SUV for 10 minutes at the edge of my driveway, like wolves testing a fence. That night, I lay awake, Bentley snoring beside me, and I kept hearing her voice. People like that don't bluff. I told myself, they demand, and if you don't kneel, they kick harder. I was right. The next morning, a sheriff's SUV rolled up. Deputy Mitchell, maybe 30, nervous hands on his belt. "We got a complaint from Silverwood Shores HOA. Says you're illegally occupying recreational land." I didn't argue, didn't yell. I invited him in, laptop open, flash drive ready, survey data, GPS photos, notarized deed, auction receipt with the state seal. Mitchell flipped through it, whistled. "You're more organized than half the folks I deal with. Looks like you're legal." He warned me, "If they push further, call us. Don't handle it alone." I nodded, but I had no idea just how far further would go. 3 days later, at dawn, the chainsaw started. I ran out barefoot, jeans half buttoned, and there they were, 7 men in neon vests and hard hats, maps in hand, one revving a saw like it owed him money. "Authorized pruning operation," one shouted through a megaphone. "For your safety, return inside." My safety. Right. I saw the header on their clipboard. Silverwood Shores Environmental Committee. Problem was, that committee didn't exist in any state registry. I planted my feet at the boundary. "You're on my land. You touch that cedar, and we've got a real problem." One guy tried to push past me, muttering about non-cooperation. Bentley lunged, teeth bared. The man stumbled back, swore. I walked calmly to the porch, opened my gun locker, set the shotgun against the rail, barrel up, camera blinking red above the door. My voice was steady. "You've got 10 seconds. Pack up, or I press charges." That should have been the end, but pride makes men stupid. One of them shoved me with his shoulder. Bentley barked. I yanked him back. Fists flew. Clipboard cracked across someone's arm. Chainsaw dropped and spun in the grass like a demon loose. It lasted 15 seconds before sirens wailed and Mitchell came skidding up the drive again. He looked at me, scratched, sweaty, dog frothing at the leash, and sighed. "You've got to be kidding me." I handed him another flash drive. "Labeled assault and lawn drama," I muttered. He separated the crew, calmed Bentley with a treat, and whispered to me, "File charges. This isn't just neighbor harassment anymore. You're in assault territory." That night, I sat on the porch, knuckles throbbing, Bentley nursing a sore rib, and for the first time I wondered if I'd made a mistake. I stared out at the lake, dark water reflecting stars, and asked myself if peace was worth this war. Maybe I should cut losses, sell, leave before it swallowed me whole. Was I stubborn or just foolish? I'd worked my whole life for a place like this, but maybe Karen Brady and her clipboard army were bigger than me. That moment of doubt sank in deep, heavy as an anchor. But then I looked at Bentley, limping back to my side, resting his head on my knee, and I thought, if I walk away now, what does that make me? A man who lets bullies redraw maps until nothing's left. No, I wasn't raised to bow. So I lawyered up. Evelyn Drake, land use attorney, razor sharp, smile like winter frost. She listened, flipped through my stack of deeds, surveys, police reports, and when she finally spoke, it was pure steel. "We're going to crush them." Evelyn found it fast. The HOA had filed an updated jurisdiction map last year, quietly extending their buffer zone 300 feet past their real boundary, right into my cabin. No county approval, no state permit, just a PDF on their website stamped with a fake code. And guess whose home computer uploaded it? Karen's. Evelyn also unearthed invoices, HOA funds paid to her cousin's contracting firm. The same clowns who tried to chainsaw my cedars. It stank. Meanwhile, neighbors started whispering. One guy said Karen fined him $500 because his boat trailer was crooked. A mom told me she got written up because her kid's sidewalk chalk was visual pollution. People were scared, angry, tired of her grip. And one day, an email came from Sharon, an HOA board member. "I didn't sign up for this. If you need testimony, I'll come forward. Be careful. They're desperate." Desperate was an understatement. A week later, Bentley collapsed after a walk. The vet found traces of toxins in his stomach. Not lethal, but planted. I installed new lights, cameras, locked mailboxes. 2 nights after, the boathouse burned. Flames shot up into the trees. My canoe melted into a puddle of aluminum. I fought with a garden hose until the fire department arrived, and when the smoke cleared, we found the trail, a dented gas can, boot prints in the mud, and my camera caught it. A hooded figure, lighter in hand, ponytail flicking in the wind. You didn't need a degree to recognize that stance. Evelyn didn't wait. She sent everything to the ATF. This wasn't civil anymore. This was arson, federal territory. 2 days later, agents with warrants raided the HOA clubhouse and Karen's home. They found flash drives, binders labeled compliance strategies, and the jackpot, a PowerPoint titled Project Clean Sweep. Inside were slides detailing how to neutralize outlier properties like mine, phrases like soft pressure displacement and escalation protocol, reputational compromise. It was a war plan. When the trial came, the courtroom smelled of disinfectant and coffee, packed wall to wall with neighbors, reporters, people who'd been under Karen's thumb for years. I sat at the plaintiff's table, Ty choking me, while Evelyn paced like a panther, pointer in hand, across the aisle. Karen looked smaller than ever. Beige blazer, tight mouth, no pearls, no clipboard. Her lawyer tried to spin it, claiming clean sweep was just a thought exercise. Evelyn laughed, in court, then dropped the payment logs, the shell company invoices, and the surveillance footage. Sharon took the stand and told the jury how Karen manipulated board votes, threatened dissenters, diverted funds. The room was silent. The nail in the coffin was the forensic report. The new jurisdiction map had metadata scrubbed, but traces tied directly to Karen's home IP. Evelyn leaned in, voice sharp. This wasn't an accident. This was a fraud orchestrated by one woman, abusing her position to seize land that wasn't hers. The judge barely let the defense stammer before the verdict came down. Guilty, fraud, falsified documents, malicious prosecution, illegal enforcement, attempted arson. Karen Brady, sentenced to 14 years. No parole for 7. And the HOA? Dissolved by court order. Funds frozen. Assets liquidated. I walked out of that courthouse not with swagger, but with something heavier, relief, the kind that sits in your bones. Back at Pinecrest Lake, I stood by the charred frame of my boathouse, Bentley at my side, and for the first time in months, the silence felt clean again. No SUVs prowling my gate, no clipboards lurking in the trees, just me, the dog, the water, and the knowledge that sometimes, when you stand your ground, the bully finally trips over her own lies. And if there's one thing I've learned from all this, it's that no piece of paper or self-made queen should ever be allowed to scare you off land you've rightfully earned. That's the message I leave here on HOA Drama Unfolded.